Good morning to you all. As IGNOU meeting is scheduled regarding BLS echoes, so I'm Irappa Pattar. I'm dealing with communication fundamentals, your course code 225. So communication fundamentals is a very important topic and very important to librarians and to handle a library smoothly, and it is very most required and important skill a librarian should have. So in this unit, we have three different units. So each unit consists chapter wise 4, 3, 2 like this. So each chapter will discuss various things about skills. So mainly in the fundamental skills. So there are three units. So the basics about the communication skills and social skills and introducing the institutions. So in this number one unit, the basics. So here we will study the basic requirement of the communication skills. So vocabulary system and vocabulary, how it is important in communication skills. So when we are using, when we are talking with the readers or any teaching faculty or any other so when you are talking with the users and with any uh, faculty or any reader, any type of reader, when you are using, so vocabulary plays a very important role. So you have to use a very warm gastric vocabulary, so that helps to build a strong communication between users and with the library resources. So that makes you to give good service to the reading faculties. So again, in this chapter, we have listening, barriers to listening. So when you are communicating with the people, you should see that there should not be any barriers. So when you are saying something to users, you should say effectively and with understandable language that helps. So build a strong communication between you and the grammar also. Whatever you are saying in a systematic format and understandable format, you have to say to the users. Then comes so writing, paragraph writing. So here some skills are will be discussed. Writing paragraph. So what you need to write, you have to indicate specifically about the things you are writing to someone to whom you are writing and what exactly you wanted to say. You have to give all that narrations in this chapters. Then comes the unit 2, social skills. So here, so meeting and greeting, reading comprehension characteristics of a good conversation, and here also we will study the some vocabulary which should not harm the social uh, should not create any barriers between the your views and your opinion. So here also we will study the speaking and listening. The language focus is very important when you are greeting someone about the library concepts and other things. So how good you are in social skills, that you have to check in this chapter. So writing current affairs, when you are writing a letter about some current activity or some current information, you should aware that that information should be authentic and very reliable. So when you are communicating each words to the someone to whom you are writing letters and all, you need to concentrate on that things. And the grammar correction you have to do. So avoiding embarrassments, safe and unsafe topics of a small talks, that you have to take care. So these are all things you will study in the social skills. Okay, then comes the introducing the institutions. So reading, vocabulary, the same things will repeat here. Institution profile, the contents. When you are introducing about your institutions, you should be specific. Introduce the profile, the institution's profile should be in a very systematic. You have to introduce who is the founder or whatever the management committee is there. So about their profile, you have to write everything in a systematic. So when it is started, institutions, and what are the objectives, uh, aims and objectives of the institutions, in what sense they are giving social connections, that all you have to write. And the courses about your institutions, and what are the achievements of your institutions, and institution heads achievements, their social contacts. So this all you have to write. Any government awards received or any students achievement also you have to discuss in this when you are introducing the institutions profile. When you are introducing your institute again in the profile about your library or institutions, you have to specifically give all information regarding appreciable information about your library collections, and what are the good collections you have in your library, and what are the any awards or your librarians achievements, that all you have to mention specifically. So here you have to go through this verbs and job responsibilities of each persons in the institution, that you have to mention clearly. So when you are giving in the 4 unit your profile, so here also you have to write everything about your achievements, your qualifications, and all your training experience and opinions. You have to say, write, and specifically. So what you wanted to say exactly about yourself when you are introducing. See, whenever we ask students to introduce yourself, they say only that very 2-3 lines they will finish their introduction. So there are so many things that you can introduce about yourself. There are so many aspects, points that you can introduce about yourself. There are so many achievements and your hobbies and your opinions, that all you should include in your introduction. So you have to take care of a very systematic format. So the when you are speaking about yourself profile and writing, you have to give all about good comments and good what we say, good achievements and all you have to write and say. And grammatically you should be perfect in writing the your profiles and institutions profiles. So pronunciation also should be very important. Whatever you are saying in any language, take it, and you should be perfect while saying in that about any cause or institution profile or any yourself introducing. So pronunciation is very important. Whatever you are saying, you should say clearly and very effective manner. Okay. So when you are preparing your profile, so your portfolio you should mention. So you are writing your resume. As I said, you have to write all your achievements and interest, hobbies, and your qualifications, any experience related to this job or any other meetings, so that you have attended, you have learned the things, that very systematically 2-3 lines you have to mention. So basically first you have to write about yourself from the things you started in your career as a career. So what are your aims and objectives, that you have to write. Your qualifications followed by your professional experience, followed by your seminars, workshops, and any other things you have attended, meetings you have attended, and the overall achievements other than the professionals you have interested and you have participated in the social life, that also you can mention your curriculum. So your social responsibility indicates your job this thing interest also, that you have to give in these things. The job interview is very important when you are, so whenever you are going for job interview, whatever your profile should say everything about you. So whatever you have mentioned in your profile, that should be very clear, and you should be aware of that, what you have indicated in the profile in your curriculum. So based on that, the interviewer will ask you so many questions, and regarding your hobbies and all. So you should be able to give exact and correct information about yourself when you are representing with your profile. You should be perfect. So whatever you have written, it should be it is judgeable. So you have to give correct information, whatever you have written in the these things you have to take care in the job interview. So when they are saying something about your interest, you should give authentic these things. The forward, they may ask some questions like that. In that sense, you have to give some good suggestions, and while during your interview, you can give some good suggestions also. Your importance, why you are interested in this job, that all you have to mention in the interview. Then fifth come preparing your profile. So as I said, so models indicating of the obligations should not be there in the profile. So your own portfolio, listening, the, as I said, everything you have to consider. So the same thing, it is followed by in the unit 6 also, preparing your curriculum resume also you have to take care. So very small chapters. Job interview also, so present perfect tense, these are all grammatical things you have to look at that. And systematic in a format, you have to write your profile. Everything should be date wise, and the event where it take place you have attended. So all information in a systematic and understandable format you have to give. Then comes the presentation skills. So it is very important, whatever you have written, you should be present in a systematic way, so where the interviewer or any listener can understand what you are saying exactly about the presentation. If you give forget about the job interview and all, when you are giving profile or institution profile, or about your library profile, so you should be, whatever you were displaying, whatever you were presenting before the audience or anybody, so you should be perfect, whatever you were presented. So if you use the data, that also good. So the collection development policy, and the how exactly from the 0 to now present status of the library, and the reader status, and acquisition of books, yearly budget system, and you have to mention the readers uh, behavior in searching the information. That all you have to encourage in your presentations. So use a systematic way, or PPT or any other way, with the hand gestures you have to present some good important topics. So then comes, you have to go with the group discussions. If you go with the group discussion, there you have to consider so many things. Why do we need group discussion? That what it indicates in the group discussions. So conducting group discussion, so what do selectors looks for? It is very important, because they wanted to know how your social profile and social communications with the people. They observe your behavior when you are presenting something before in the group. So how do you react when any questions arise? How do you answer? And how best you can perform their institutions? That all they look in your group discussions. In the do's and do not are very important in the group discussions. When you are discussing some point, if anybody arguing that, you have to be very calm and cool and give the exact justification for what you are saying. If you are not understand, if you are not agree what you said, if the opposite party says something about your this discussion, you have to agree sometimes. You should not say always I'm right and I'm whatever I'm saying is correct. You should not say that. When things comes in a positive way, you have to accept it. That also including point in the group discussions. They observe this point also in a positive manner. So how he accepts his faults and any these things, you should not behave like an arrogant. Whatever you're saying is a correct and I'm the best. Don't do in such a activities in the group discussions. So you focus on the language, vocabulary, and the presentation skills in the group discussions. So what point you are discussing there, if you know you speak very systematically with the data and analytic capacity also, they will see your analysis ability, how the person is judging and understanding and accepting the things, that these are the things they wanted to see in the group discussions. It is not like that who wins the argument in the group discussion, he is the winner. No, they may ask, they may look the person who is accepting and listening calmly the group discussion points. They consider that person also for their favorable. So these are the points you have to keep in your mind during your group discussions and all. So assessment criteria is very important. How you assess the things, uh, on what are the difficulties and what are the key characteristics you have to show there. So that all include in your assessment. Assessment is very important because interviewer or any person who is assessing your uh, communication skill in all respective will assess how you will accept and how you will discharge your things, that all they study in your discussion. Then the body language is very important. So as I said, when you are presenting something before a group or a person, so your body language is very important. How you stand, how you move your hands and the gestures, how you express your facial these things, and how you are presenting things in a very systematic way. So your body language you have to maintain there. So that will also be in study. Then in the writing skills, some basic guidelines. So there are methods, different methods, identifying your subject, so gathering information, purpose, and knowing your readers. So writing skills, these are the some guidelines. Beginning to write the thesis statement, writing a paragraph, introduction and conclusions. And then comes organizing your writings, forms and discourses. So these are the things you have to consider in the writing skills. So these are the some basic guidelines you have to accept. Okay. Then internal correspondence at the workplace is very important. So when you are writing something and you are requesting something to the principal or authority or any management, so you have to write in a systematic way to whom you are addressing and what the subject you wanted to say there, and why, what are the your requirements and why you need that requirement in your library or in your workplace, that you have to mention the cost and from where we have to bear the amount and other things, these financial burdens, what how it helps and feature in services, and what how it best how it gives the best these things to the institutions profile development, institution benefit also you have to mention there. So how it helps the students community, staff community and the institutions development. So that all you have to mention when you are writing something to the management or when you are bringing notice to your higher authority. You have to be very specific, and whatever you are writing you have to be judgeable, means you have to give correct specific information when they ask something about your these things. So letter, memorandum, office orders, circular, notice, agenda, minutes of meeting. So reading comparison, different types of internal communication. These all comes in the internal communication. Internal communication formats, letters, memorandum, office orders, circulars, notice, agenda, minutes of the meeting. When you are conducting a meeting, so what are the issues you are going to discuss, you have to write, and what is the outcome and opinion of the members of the meeting, that you have to write. So minutes that you have to write in a minutes of the meeting. Then notice, when you are giving notice to reader or any other regarding this, you have to specifically mention the cause and clause. And agenda, office orders, when you are issuing an order, when you are preparing something about your library or order, you have to give specific matters there, because they may whatever you are writing, and once it is displayed, means the users are very clever, and they also pinpoint about your writings only. They will show, say, you have written like this, what I can do. So in a such a way, they may ask you. So be specific when you are writing something. So external correspondence at the workplace is also very important. So differences formats are there. So letter level and contents are very important, as I said. So external correspondence with any users or suppliers or any office, your higher authority, or you are writing to any uh, above your principal level, or any about your boss level, managerial, these things, you have to specific that you have to go through proper channel, through principal, through management, or through something, any higher authority, you have to mention that. So that means you brought to notice about your higher authority, what you are writing to the next level. That also you have to consider. So in the block 5, so advanced writing skills, here also there are 3 units. Okay, basic features of the proposals, writing reports. So when you are writing reports, is very important that you have to look at the correct exact data is very important. When you are submitting a report about something, you have to give specific and authentic level of information. So basics features of a proposal there. So why do you need a proposal? As I said, when you need something in your library, or you want to make some changes or anything, you have to give some good suggestions, or any other things you wanted to express. You have to give a very systematic proposal. You have to give in a systematic way. So your higher authority, or to whomsoever you are writing, he will understand what he wanted to say and what he need, how it is possible that we can provide, how best he can give us the feedback, that all they understand. So in such a way, you have to submit the proposal. So when you are writing proposals, the style of a report is very important, structure of a report. So order a report. So style you are writing, as I said, in a brief, point to point, and they should not be irrelevant between the points. You are mentioning one point again, and you are mentioning the second point. Should be correlate. So they should not be irrelevant. You are saying something and you are presenting something. So this should not happen in your writing reports. That you have to take care. And the structure is also very important. Once it should be like a mirror, your mind mirror. So your proposal should be in that format. Okay. So the questionnaire method also, when you are getting some opinion and reports feedback from your readers or any this thing, you have to follow some questionnaire methods. So there are different types of questionnaire methods, surveying, when you are asking some authentic information in RTI formats. So, types of questions. What are, you have to frame some objectives on that. You have to prepare questions. So when you are collecting some information, there should be some object to collect the answers from the feedback from the readers on what process, on what event you are collecting the feedback, that is very important. On that basis, you have to build the questions. So precautions you have to take when you are collecting some information. So they will give the information which can be provided, and which cannot be provided, they will not. In a such a way, when you are preparing questionnaires, it is very important. You have to ask the questions in certain limits. There should not be any personal things should be asked, or any other things. Irrelevant questions should not rise in the questionnaires. Only relevant questions you should ask. Okay. So these are the some important points you have to observe in the basic communication skills. Fundamentals of communication skills is very important. When you are saying something, you should be perfect. When you are writing something, you should be systematically presented. When you are corresponding with somebody, you should be specific what you are going to say. So these are the very small, not small, maybe if you think it is as no, already we know that. But when you are attending with some pen and notes, you have to be very specific. So with this, let me conclude the communication skills. The another one is information products and services, that I will communicate with the madam, and we will discuss in the next class about the information products and services. So thank you very much. So if you have any doubts, you can message me.